Hi everyone, so I'm doing these tips, and these are coaching tips mainly, but also just from my personal experiences of working with clients as a counsellor and a coach. And this is another one. None of these tips that I'm giving you are rocket science. None of them are things that you haven't heard before, but sometimes it's just worth refreshing, because I feel like at this point, lots of people are almost forgetting that, there are some positive things that are happening around you. There are some things that you can tap into to make your life more enjoyable. And this tip is about staying in the present moment. Now, I don't want to go on too much because I think I've made loads of videos about this, and this is something I live for. People are living their life backwards. They're thinking about things that have happened yesterday. They're thinking about things that have happened last week. They're thinking about things that have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, it's fine to reflect. I mean, occasionally I'll reflect on, I remember back in my uni days, and that was 20 years ago. Maybe I'll reflect on, I remember when, my dad was alive. I remember these sorts of activities. Every reflection that I have from the past is usually for a reason. I'm reflecting so that I can take something from it. I remember when this happened, so therefore I can use that now. Apart from that, there's nothing that I do which would mean that I sit back in my current life and be thinking about an action that happened 10 years ago, and I'm still trying to work it out or trying to get closure from it or trying to figure out why it happened. It's completely pointless because you can't go back there. Now, the only exception to that is if something happened traumatic in your childhood, or something has happened in terms of trauma or a significant event that is still impacting on you as an adult. So I'm not professionally as a counsellor. Obviously, we look back at someone's past, so if it's still impacting on them now, but in your normal life, if you were just what you're doing is you're missing the moments that are happening in the present. There's a book by Eckhart Tolle which is called, what's his book called? The Power of Now. That book changed my life when I read it, but also when I listened to him in interviews with Oprah Winfrey, it changed a lot of things, because he was talking about this idea of just being in the moment and just focusing on what's going on right now. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes. I don't know what's going to happen after I make this video. You gotta just be in the moment, and the way that it takes practice as well. I went to a point where I was just thinking about the day ahead. So I'd be thinking about the 24 hours in front of me. I'm now at the point where I can actually just think about what's going on right now in the moment. If I'm with my client, I'm not thinking about my phone going off, because my phone is usually nowhere near me. I'm not thinking about what I'm gonna do next. I'm not thinking nothing. I'm just present. I'm just in that moment. So the benefits of that means you live life more authentically, because you're not living with regret. What's the point in having staking up an emotion and being unhappy about something that you can't do anything about? You can't go back and redo it. You can't go back and do that relationship again. You can't go back and not say those words to that person. None of it can be redone. So what's the point in thinking about it? There's something, you don't even have to keep saying this thing about we need closure as well. I think as a counsellor, fair enough, there are things where I'll talk about closure letters. But I even think I'm going to probably make a video about that separately. This whole idea of closure has also sometimes been used in a not a productive way, because sometimes we might not get closure. We might not know why that person broke up with us. We might not know why we didn't get picked for the job. We might never know the answers to it, but even if we did know the answers, would it make us feel any better? Why do we need closure? Some things we don't need closure about. So living in the present just means you're experiencing life as it happens. And then you won't look back, you won't have regrets, because you'll say, well, that's how I wanted to live my life. I was living moment by moment instead of I was living thinking about the past. So there's probably more to it. I could probably talk about this topic a lot. Some topics I could just talk about for hours, but obviously I'm not going to make a video about that. So I'll probably talk about this again, but I would just encourage people to think about what is stopping you from living in your present life, what is stopping you from living in the here and now, what is dragging you back to the past. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave your comments, share with others, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.